China and the US are locked in a power struggle right now over AI. And the future of global power and technology will come down to something no bigger than your fingernail: a chip. These microchips are packed with billions of transistors and capable of running everything from your smartphone to the latest artificial intelligence models. And right now, there's a global tug-of-war between China and the US over who controls this tiny but critical piece of tech. Semiconductors are the heart of modern technology. Every phone, car, fighter jet, and AI algorithm relies on them. And the most advanced chips? They're essential for cutting-edge AI, military systems, quantum computing, and basically anything else that you can think of that gives countries an edge in the 21st century. And with AI being so strategically important for countries, semiconductor supply chains have become a major economic battleground. The United States still leads in chip design thanks to companies like Nvidia, Intel, and AMD, but these companies don't actually manufacture the chips themselves. Actually manufacturing the most advanced chips? That's mostly done overseas, and that global dependency has created a big strategic vulnerability. One company in particular in Taiwan is essential to the entire global economy, and it's one of the main reasons why China, the US, and the whole rest of the world is so concerned about Taiwan. And that one business is Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, also known as TSMC. TSMC is the largest independent semiconductor foundry in the world, and manufactures the most cutting-edge semiconductor chips in existence. Semiconductor sales are currently over $600 billion a year, and many estimates show that that will grow to $1 trillion in revenue a year by 2030. So the fact that TSMC is the largest semiconductor foundry in the world makes this one company absolutely essential to the global economy and the future of AI. And when I say that TSMC is the largest, what I really mean is that it completely dominates the semiconductor foundry market. TSMC has a market share of approximately 54%, and Taiwan as a country has an estimated 63% of the market. No other company or country even comes close. Even more critically though, it's estimated that Taiwan accounts for 90% of the manufacturing capacity of the world's most advanced semiconductor chips. Semiconductor manufacturing is unbelievably complex, and because of this, many companies don't have the capability to make the most advanced chips themselves, and stopped trying a long time ago. Not only are you manufacturing at the scale of nanometers with semiconductors, but they also have to be manufactured in clean rooms because even a tiny speck of dust can ruin a semiconductor. The transistors in cutting-edge semiconductors are around 7 to 10 nanometers in thickness at this point. For context, a human hair is around 100,000 nanometers wide, which goes to show you how inconceivably small and precise semiconductor manufacturing actually is. Since no one else can manufacture chips at the scale and quality that TSMC does, Taiwan has become a massive focus of both the US and China. The United States and China have been competitors on the global stage, especially in AI recently. And AI depends heavily on computing power, which in turn depends on semiconductors. So whoever controls the supply of the world's most advanced chips holds the keys to the future of AI. That's why in recent years, the US has been playing serious defense. Starting in 2019, the US began blacklisting Chinese tech giants like Huawei, cutting off their access to critical American-made chips and software. But it didn't stop there. In 2022, the US introduced sweeping export controls aimed at cutting off China's ability to access or manufacture high-end semiconductors used in AI and supercomputing. The new rules didn't just block American companies from doing business, they also applied to foreign companies that use US technology. And the export controls have only gotten more strict as time has gone on, with more recent restrictions being added in 2025. But China hasn't taken this lightly. China has poured billions into building a self-sufficient chip industry. And in a move that raised eyebrows around the world, a Chinese firm called SMIC managed to make a 7-nanometer chip in 2023. Nowhere near the 2nm chips that TSMC is starting to produce, but still pretty advanced by today's standards, despite the sanctions. Taiwan has tried to remain relatively neutral and to avoid creating confrontations with either country. But TSMC just added over 600 Chinese companies, including Huawei and SMIC, to its restricted customer list. In other words, if you're a Chinese tech firm and want high-end chips from TSMC, you now need a special license. It's a major shift showing that Taiwan is leading more to the US side in this fight for tech supremacy. And that's important because AI isn't just the next tech wave. It is the wave. Whoever leads in AI could dominate industries, economies, and defense. This isn't just a trade war, it's a tech arms race. But despite all of the export restrictions, China has managed to make significant AI development breakthroughs of its own. DeepSeek is a Chinese AI company that just went from being unknown to the subject of congressional hearings in under a year. DeepSeek even overtook ChatGPT on the US iOS App Store and sent shockwaves throughout Silicon Valley, wiping around $600 billion off Nvidia's market cap in a single day. DeepSeek isn't some state-owned giant or a household name like Huawei. It actually started as a spin-off from a Chinese quantitative trading firm, and for a while it flew under the radar. But then in early 2025, it dropped a bomb on the AI world. An open-source large language model, DeepSeek v3, that rivaled OpenAI's GPT-4. But the craziest part is that it supposedly cost a fraction of what American companies spend to train their AI models. According to reports, DeepSeek used around 2,000 NVIDIA GPUs to train its model, compared to the tens of thousands used by US companies. They also claimed that the total cost was around $5.6 million. For context, GPT-4's estimated training cost is in the hundreds of millions. Now you might be wondering how DeepSeek got its hands on NVIDIA GPUs. After the US banned exports of advanced NVIDIA chips to China, the assumption was that Chinese firms would struggle to keep up. But DeepSeek was able to get around those restrictions by setting up shell companies in Southeast Asia, acquiring chips through third parties, and renting cloud servers overseas. Basically, they manipulated their way into getting banned GPUs, and it worked. That alone would raise eyebrows, but then more red flags came out about DeepSeek. US officials have accused DeepSeek of having links to China's military and intelligence community. According to some sources, DeepSeek tech has been cited over 150 times in internal documents tied to China's People Liberation Army. And if their AI is feeding into military projects, that's a whole different level of concern. It could power surveillance systems, autonomous drones, cyber weapons, you name it. The fear in Washington is that DeepSeek could be fast-tracking China's military AI capabilities. And one thing's clear, whoever is able to control semiconductor supply chains and AI won't just dominate the tech industry, they'll shape the rules of the next century. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out my full documentary on the economic decline China is facing. And be sure to subscribe to the channel for more finance and business content. Thanks.